Neymar is one of the greatest and most entertaining footballers we have ever seen grace a football pitch. And for someone who has been at the top of his game for about a decade, are you surprised that he has amassed so much wealth? This guy who came from absolutely nothing and nearly even died before he was 1 year old is now one of the wealthiest athletes on the planet. Here are 10 stupidly expensive things that Neymar Jr. owns in no particular order. And we start from the mansion he built in his home country. Even if you don't know Neymar so well, you surely know that he's a family man who never forgets his roots. The PSG man left Brazil for Europe back in 2013 to start playing in the big leagues and earning the big bucks. And once the cash flow really started, he made sure to first buy a mansion in Brazil. This mansion, which is located in Mangaratiba, cost him over $8 million, and this was back in 2016. And when I say a mansion, Neymar's home is the actual definition. It has 6 bedrooms, a swimming pool, tennis court, a helipad, a garage that can park more than 20 cars, a basketball court, an insane underground wine cellar, a sauna, a massage room, a fully fitted gym. I promise you, the list is endless. When Neymar gets injured or just wants to take a break, this is where he comes to. If I owned a mansion like this, trust me, the outside would never see me again. But then, if Neymar never went out again, how would he be able to flaunt his stupidly expensive cars? His collection of automobiles costs well over $1 million. What am I even saying? 1 million? Maybe even 2. His Maserati MC12 alone costs $500,000. And then there are the Audis, Porsche, Ferrari, before you come down to the regular cars like the Volkswagens. And when I say regular, it's regular for Neymar, definitely not regular for me, because even though this Volks SUV is the cheapest car in his collection, it costs a little over $50,000. Surely, if you live in a mansion like that and hop in expensive cars like those, you will definitely always have a huge smile on your face like Neymar always does. And that smile, even that smile is not cheap at all. He spent a load of cash on dental veneers, and those things are damn expensive. I hear that just one tooth can cost up to $2,500. So if he changed all 32, he would have spent a whopping $80,000 on upgrading his smile. Bro, $80K on just his teeth? Okay, let's even say he didn't change everything. Just half of the teeth would have cost $40K. Man, that's absolutely insane. You're telling me Neymar's teeth probably cost about the same amount as his SUV? I guess I can never understand how wealthy footballers spend their money. Nah, it's time I take a break, man. Speaking of time, the number 7 stupidly expensive things Neymar owns are his watches. The PSG number 10 loves his watches. One fateful morning, Neymar Jr. just woke up and walked into a Gaga Milano store and bought 16 watches right there and then. 16 watches, you know. I hear they cost him about $180,000. Bro, we're talking insane amounts here. It would appear that Gaga Milano is his favorite luxury watch brand. The two parties even teamed up and produced a limited edition watch which costs about $2,000. By the way, in case you didn't get it, the $180K was money he spent on watches in just one day. I've not even started talking about his Hublots, Rolexes, APs, Patek Philippe's, Richard Milles, and other really crazy expensive watches Neymar owns. I mean, if he spent $180K on watches in a day, just think how many millions he spends in a year. And you know what else he spends his millions on? Jewelry. He may not even be able to wear them on the pitch, but outside it, Neymar is always adorned in all sorts of very expensive jewelry. From his original diamond studs to his earrings, to his chains and necklaces, to his gold rings and bracelets, the lad never leaves the house if he is not fully iced up. His jewelry collections cost millions of dollars, and if you try to keep up with them, you'll be wasting your time, because Neymar Jr. stays updating his collection every other day. Now, at number 5 is something Neymar doesn't really own, but is still his, you know? When the superstar moved to France in 2017, he had nowhere to stay. Of course, he couldn't commute to his new job in France from his mansion over in Brazil, so what did he do? Well, he started out staying at 5-star hotels until he found a home that suits his lifestyle. And of course, the home he found was just as luxurious as his own mansion back home. It has 5 floors, a sauna, swimming pool, huge parking space, and a whole lot more sitting on over 10,000 square feet of land. To rent this space, Neymar spends about $200,000 every year. And the talented winger has been in France for about 5 years now, so go ahead and do the math. I tell you, this guy is stupid rich. With this much wealth, I'm sure he sometimes feels like he can fly. And the truth is that he actually can fly whenever he wants in his Airbus H-145 chopper. The aircraft cost him over $14 million to acquire, and that is aside from the extra money he paid to give the interior a Batman-inspired decor and give the exterior his famous NJR autograph. Again, stupidly expensive. Now, you would think that one helicopter is enough aircraft for a person. Well, not for someone as insanely wealthy as Neymar Jr. In addition to his chopper, Neymar also bought a jet. And not just any jet, he bought an Embraer Legacy 450. If you manage to get on the inside of this beauty, trust me, you won't ever want to come out. This jet, which can take 9 passengers, looks better than my crib. I can tell you that for free. Oh, and it definitely costs more than my crib too. What am I saying? It costs more than all the apartments in my building put together. This Brazilian legend spent $15 million to acquire this luxurious private jet. And guess what? One helicopter and one private jet are still not enough for Neymar Jr. Here in number 2, we have the third aircraft and the second private jet the Brazilian owns, the Cessna Citation 680, which cost him $22 million. And it is said that he spends about $1 million on maintenance every month. Sometimes I want to ask what Neymar needs 3 aircrafts for, but then I realize that when you're insanely wealthy, you don't just buy things you need, you just buy things you want. Anyway, away from my philosophy and back to the footballing genius. If you watch Neymar on the field of play, you'll know that he's just as good in the air as when he's in his aircrafts. But you know what else he's good at on the pitch? Diving? So are you surprised that he owns a property on the sea too? At number 1 is his $8 million 3-floor yacht, which has 4 suites and even a jacuzzi in one of the bathrooms. You must have seen him once or twice on social media partying with his friends on his crazily expensive yacht. But in all his extravagant spending, Neymar still remains a largely sentimental lad. He named his luxurious yacht Nadine after his mother, and he keeps it back home in Santos, Brazil, where it all started for him. And unlike the aircrafts, this one was for the people. It can take up to 65 passengers, so whenever Sao Paulo's favorite son visits his hometown, it's always a party on the sea. You look at all these things and find it really difficult to fathom that this guy came from nothing. This guy who owns these stupidly expensive things and is one of the wealthiest sportsmen in the world came from nothing? Wow, and I mean absolutely nothing too. Neymar used to share the same mattress with his father, his mother, and his sister. Food was hard to come by, and electricity was a luxury. And he's not the only footballer with a grass-to-grace story like this. Click that video at the center of your screen to see famous footballers who came from absolutely nothing. They're all true stories, I promise you. Pretty motivational too. Go check it out.